You don't know, you damn well should know. My name is Rag Reynolds, and today we're here to talk about the Flat Earth conspiracy. Now I want to preface this by saying, months ago I made a video called I Went to the Edge of the World and Fell Off. In this video I said these things. I'm by no means a flat earther, I'm not saying the earth is flat. And I'm just going to jump right to it and tell you, I walked to the end of the world and I fell off. I fell off. And I would have died if it hadn't been for a great man, a great hero. And that man's name is James Finlayson. He reached over with his arm and he grabbed me by the wrist, and I don't know where his strength came from. He's not a big guy, he's not a muscly man, he's an older man. But he grabbed me by the arm and he tugged me back onto the earth. So as you heard there, I did make it quite clear that I am by no means a flat earther. But since that video, I've had lots of people refer to me as a flat earther, especially in my comments, and it's happened a lot since I Blabber made a video about me. Even though I've made it perfectly clear time and time again that I am by no means a flat earther. I do not believe the earth is flat, and something does not need to be flat in order to have an edge that you can fall off. It doesn't need to be entirely flat. So anyway, all of that aside, taking out my personal opinions, in this video we're going to look into the flat earth conspiracy, and by the end of the video I will tell you whether or not I think the theory has any merit. And before we get into this, I do want to say that this is going to be the first in a new video series I am starting up about conspiracy theories, where I'm going to investigate different theories and tell you if I think they have merit or not. So if there is a specific theory you would like me to look into, then please leave it as a suggestion in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's jump right into this. So from my understanding, the flat earth theory is basically that we've been lied to, and that the earth is completely flat and not round. I don't know the fine details of it, but that's what we're going to investigate today. I also believe that the vast majority of flat earthers are nothing more than trolls. Disgusting trolls. That's what they are. I don't think many of them, if any at all, actually believe the earth is flat. I mean, I think I've maybe seen a couple of examples that I'm convinced they're just so stupid they believe it, but I do think the majority of them are faking it from what I have seen, but I could be wrong. So if you want to know about something, I suppose the best place to go is to that group of people themselves, I suppose. So we're going to go to the Flat Earth Wiki. Here it is in all its glory, and the first thing we're going to do is go right over to their frequently asked questions. So the first thing they cover here is the question about people being in space and how have people not discovered that the Earth is flat. So here's what they had to say about that.
The most commonly accepted explanation of this is that space agencies of the world are involved in a conspiracy faking space travel and exploration. This likely began during the Cold War space race, in which the USSR and the USA were obsessed with beating each other into space to the point that each faked their accomplishments in an attempt to keep pace with the other's supposed achievements. Since the end of the Cold War, however, the conspiracy is most likely motivated by greed rather than political gains, and using only some of their funding to continue to fake space travel saves a lot of money to embezzle for themselves. In light of the above, please note that we are not suggesting that space agencies are aware that the Earth is flat and are actively covering that fact up. They depict the Earth as being round simply because that is what they expect it to be.
So their explanation is not that the government is lying to us about anything, or that NASA is lying, or anything like that, but rather that they just haven't been to space, and they faked space exploration during the Cold War, and ever since they have been faking it, and they depict the Earth as round because they expect it to be round. So they don't actually know it's round, they just expect it to be round. Another one of these frequently asked questions is talking about how there are images around online and on the news and everywhere else that show the Earth as round, and how do these not disprove the flat Earth theory? And their response to that is essentially just that they don't take photographic evidence as real evidence because it's too easily altered. They also say that
barrel distortion and other quirks of modern cameras will cause a picture to distort in ways that may not be immediately obvious or apparent, especially without references within the picture. Photographs are also prone to distortion when taken through the bent glass of a pressurized cabin, as well as atmospheric conditions on the outside. With this litany of problems, it is easy to see why photographic evidence is not to be trusted.
I mean, I suppose this is maybe the most understandable answer they're given to any of these questions. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, photographic manipulation is a big thing these days. I mean, people can make all sorts of fantastic fake images that look so lifelike. I mean, CGI these days and like movies. I mean, have you seen like the recent Avengers movies where you get like the Incredible Hulk? I mean, he looks so real. Or like Thanos in Infinity War, he looks like a real person just standing there. So yeah, I could definitely understand what they're going with all this photogenic manipulation, because these images and pictures of the Earth, they can't be that complicated to manipulate, especially considering we've done so many other things that are probably far more impressive, so that's understandable. So the last of these frequently asked questions that we're going to look at is, what does the Earth look like?
How is circumnavigation possible? As seen in the diagrams above,
here's the diagram they're talking about.
The Earth is in the form of a disk with the North Pole in the centre and Antarctica as a wall around the edge. This is the generally accepted model among members of society. In this model, circumnavigation is performed by moving in a great circle around the North Pole. The Earth is surrounded on all sides by an ice wall that holds the oceans back. This ice wall is what explorers have named Antarctica. Beyond the ice wall is a topic of great interest to the Flat Earth Society. To our knowledge, no one has ever been very far past the ice wall and returned to tell of their journey. What we do know is that it encircles the Earth and serves to hold in our oceans and helps to protect us from whatever lies beyond.
So the idea is that the Earth is on this sort of disc shape, this circle, but it's flat, and around the edges to hold in the water and all that sort of stuff, we have Antarctica that spans the entire disc. And the ice walls of Antarctica holds everything in place. So you can go around the world by going around the North Pole, which is right in the centre of the disc. Now I must say, this is a very elaborate theory. This whole wiki is filled with information. You could spend hours reading it. Then you could go onto Facebook and find Flat Earther Facebook groups. You could go onto YouTube and find Flat Earther YouTube videos. And the whole thing is so elaborate. There are lots of different branches off of the theory. This is obviously the main theory, the main diagram of the Earth, etc. But this is a theory that is very well cooked up. Now I do still believe that the vast majority of the people involved in this are not serious about it. I mean, when it comes down to it, you see there's Flat Earth conventions. There are Flat Earth Facebook groups. There are Flat Earth... I don't personally understand why someone would join these groups or actually go out of their way to tell everyone I'm a Flat Earther and identify with that label, unless they had some sort of other motive. Let me use an example. People who think that the moon landing was fake, do they have a name for themselves? I don't think so. I mean, yes, there are a lot of people who think the moon landing was fake, and yes, there are Facebook groups where people talk about conspiracies like that. But there is no moon landing conspiracy society. They don't hold large meetings where they all gather and talk about how the moon landing was fake. Maybe you have wider conspiracy meetups and stuff like that, but I don't think, to my knowledge, you really have any sort of society of people who think the moon landing was fake. There are not people who go around advertising themselves as moon landing deniers. When it comes to something like a Flat Earth Society, these are people who are wearing Flat Earther on their chest like a badge. If you're wearing something on your chest like a badge, it's probably not because you necessarily believe in what you're saying. Maybe you do, but it's more because you have an ulterior motive with that. When I talked about my experience when I went to the edge of the world and fell off, I didn't say, oh, I'm a Flat Earther. I specifically said I'm not a Flat Earther. I don't advertise myself as a Flat Earther because I'm not one. I don't want to try and just put it out there to say that, oh look how woke I am and give me attention for this. I was just sharing my experience. Same goes with my Australia videos. When I say Australia is not a real place, yes, I say that in videos. And yes, I make a lot of those videos because I know they'll do a bit well, or I'm trying to get the word out there as well. But I don't advertise myself as an Australia denier. I mean, I don't go around telling everyone that. You go on a Flat Earther's Twitter profile, and their Twitter profile has in the description, it's in their bio, it says a Flat Earther. You don't go to my Twitter and see Australia denier. If you do see something like that, it probably means that they're in it for something else. They're not in it just to spread the word, they're not in it just because they believe it. They're probably in it for attention, or just because they're having a bit of a laugh, or something else. They're probably not someone who genuinely believes what they're spouting. If you're going around telling everyone, I'm a Flat Earther, and you're wearing it as a badge, that's because you want someone to notice you. It's not because you want to spread the word, it's not because you're serious about it. It's about you wanting attention or some fame or something else out of that. So do I think that this has any merit to it, this whole flat earth theory? No, I don't. I don't think it has merit to it, and I've said that already in the past, as I explained at the start of this video, and I still feel the same way after reading this stuff. It certainly is very elaborate, which could convince some really stupid people probably. But to me, there's just too much proof. I mean, I don't believe that the moon landing was faked, for example. I believe that we have been to the moon. I believe that we have been to space. I believe that we have seen the Earth from outer space. I don't believe that these pictures of the Earth are faked. Yes, they could be. Yes, we have the ability to do so. But I don't think that they are. So overall, I've got to say I do not believe the Earth is flat. I don't think I ever could believe that the Earth is flat. Yeah, I really don't see myself as a conspiracy theorist, as I've tried to put across this entire time I've been on YouTube. The only conspiracy, so to speak, that I've ever bought into is Australia not being real. I still stand by that entirely. I will defend that to my death. But I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think that's entirely confirmed. I think there's so much evidence to support the arguments I've made. I mean, I've made 19 videos on the subject, so I think there's plenty of evidence for that. We're not just talking about a conspiracy there, we're talking about something that is confirmed by fact. But that's a completely different topic for a completely different day. This video is all about flat Earth, and as far as the flat Earth goes, I've got to say there's no merit to it whatsoever. So as a final reminder before I end this video, this is going to be a new series I will continue on the channel. This was just a starter, just to get things rolling, so the future ones will probably be a bit better. I'll have a bit more planning, maybe throw a few little sketches in there, whatever, if I can think something up at the time. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for conspiracies that you would like to hear my thoughts about, then please put them in the comments down below. And until next time, you are all welcome, society. I walked to the end of the world and I fell off.